Welcome to my channel, Ana Lana. Today we are going to learn how to make this reversible sweater, so please stay with me through the whole video and remember to subscribe and give me a like. And the instructions are for size medium to large. YouTube has me as Ana for Lana, so when you see this little cat, just click it and you will find all my videos. And we are going to need medium size yarn, about 600 grams, and straight needles, 525 millimeters, and crochet hook of 5.5 and another one of 4.5 millimeters, just to help with the cuffs and the waistband. And of course, a tapestry needle. And one of the beauties of this sweater is that it has two different designs in each side. So in this one, we see this, and inside out we can see a different type of knitting, but it's still a very nice one. So you can just take it out and put it inside out without really caring, and you are basically having two different sweaters. The only difference will be the sleeves. One is knitting and the other side will be purl. So we are going to start with the back, which is going to be a rectangle. I'm going to need straight needles, 5.25, which is the number 9 in the US, and a crochet hook of 5.5 millimeters to begin our foundation. The sweater is going to be knitted, but I'm going just to start with the crochet hook, 93 chains. That way I will start with my foundation without really wasting too much time calculating or too much yarn leaving a leftover. So I'm going to do 93 chains. And once I am done with my 93 chains, I'm going just to leave this loop, and I'm going to take the straight needle and put it through the loop, and then I'm going to be pulling the yarn through each space until I end with 93 points. So this is an easy way to start my foundation for the sweater. This is an easy way to start the foundation for whoever is not familiar with the more traditional ways. So now we are going to start with row number 1, and the first stitch we just pass it, and then we are going to knit 1, 2, 3, and now purl 1, and again knit 1, knit 2 and 3, and then purl 1, and you are going to continue repeating this. And now I am at the end of the row number 1, and knit 1, knit 2, and knit 3, and now purl the last one. Okay, so now I turn the work, and we are going to start with row number 2. So row number 2, we are going to pass the first point, and these 3 now they look like pearls, so we are going to purl 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we knit the next one. Again, purl 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then knit the next one, and we are going to continue like that. Okay, so now I am done basically with the rectangle of the back. You see, this is a very nice design. And so far, I just want to measure my length, and I have 55 centimeters, which is 21.5 inches. So remember that later on, we are going to do the waistband in crochet. So at this moment, we are just going to be closing. Okay, so as usual, I will pass the first one, and then I'm going to purl the second one and pass the first one over the second one. So remember, we follow the direction of the stitches. This is a purl, so we purl, and then first one over the second one. This is a knit, so I knit it, then I pass the first one over the second one, and I'll continue doing that, following the direction of the stitches. So once I am done, I'm going just to pull the loop, and I'm just going to cut the yarn. I'm going to leave this just in case I need it later. So once we finish, we are going to measure it again, and I have a length of 56 centimeters, which is about 22 inches. About the width, so this is very stretchy, so this is going to be a medium to large size. For the front, we will need 100 chains, and we will follow the same instructions the way we did the back. We will use the straight needles and continue doing 3 knits, 1 purl for the first row, and going backwards, 3 purls, 1 knit. Now, when we have enough, we will just compare it, and we will stop at the moment that we need 16 more rows. Next, we will start counting 41 points from the end to the center, and we will put a marker there. So in the center, we will have a total of 18 points. If you need a bigger space for your head, just leave 20 or 22 points in the center. So now we turn the work, and we are going to start working on the first shoulder. So first, we are going to pass the first one, and then we are going to continue knitting 3, and we are going to purl 1 and then knitting 3 and purl 1 until we get to the marker. So we got here to the end of these first 41 points, and now I'm going to start the 18 stitches in the center, and I'm going to start closing them. So we already know how to close. So we will be doing this until we get to the next marker, and that will be the end of our center. So once we get here to the marker, this is the end of the 18 stitches, so we don't need to close no more stitches. So now we are going to continue just knitting in the way that the design calls for. So 3 knits, 1 purl, and so on. Okay, we turn the work. And now we are going to really start working on the first shoulder, because now we have the center closed. So we are going just to continue with the same design. However, at the end of this row, that's where we are going to have our first decrease. Okay, so we are here at the end of the row, and there are 3 left. So we are going to knit 2 together, and the last one, I knit it alone. So that will be normal. Okay, so we already got to the center, and now we start row number 2, and there will be no decreases. Okay, so now we are in row number 3, and there will be a decrease at the end of the row. Okay, so right here, there are 3 points left, and I'm going just to knit 2 together, and the last one will be alone. Okay? So now we turn the work, and this is row number 4, no reductions. So here we are going to start row number 5, and this is our third decrease that will be at the end of the row. So here we are at the end of the row, and we have 3 left, so we are going to knit 2 together and the last one alone, and then we will turn the work and we'll continue. So total, we need 5 decreases, 5 reductions. This is the decrease number 3. We need 2 more. In total, we will have 5 every other row. So I am right now in my row number 9, and I am at the end of the row. There are 3 left, so this is going to be the last decrease. We are going to knit 2 together, and the last one, we will knit it alone. So we are done with the decreases. So now I'm putting the back and front together just to see how many more rows do I need. And I can see that I have 6 more rows to make. So I'm going to continue knitting them with no reductions. So I'm going to put a marker here in my last point, so I do remember where was the last reduction, and then I'm going to start knitting 6 more rows, no decreases. I just finished with these 6 additional rows, and now I'm going to be closing this shoulder, then we will continue with the other. Okay, I just finished closing this first shoulder, and now I'm going just to leave a little string in case I need to use it to put it together with the against the back. And we are going to start now working on the next shoulder. So I'm going to turn the work, and then with the help of a crochet hook, I'm going just to to join this other yarn. It's a little bit difficult sometimes to do this, but I just need to make a knot and to join the yarn and start working on this. So we are going to start with row number 1, and the decrease will be at the beginning. We pass the first one, and then second and third stitches, we knit them together. So this is our first reduction, and then I'll continue with the pattern in a normal way. So remember, this is the opposite side of the shoulder we just finished. So row number 2, no decreases. Row number 3, pass the first one and then knit the next 2 together. And then we'll continue with the same pattern. And we are going to continue decreasing every other row, same way as we did it with the first shoulder. So that way we continue forming the curve. And then we close it, and this is the way we have it. Right now we already did the 6 additional rows, and now we are just going to close it, and we have this front part all done. Okay, so now we are going to put the front and the back together just to join the shoulders. So we are going to use the tapestry needle, and we are going to start sewing point by point, trying to make symmetric, these little veins. So we just put them together, and then we are going to continue like that. Now we are going to do the turtleneck, and we are going just to need the same yarn that we are using, and the stray needles 2 sizes smaller than the ones we use in the sweater. In this case, it's 4.5 millimeters. Okay, so this is the space that we have for the head, and I'm going to be using needles that are 2 sizes smaller than the ones that I use for the rest of the sweater. In this case, it's again the 4.5 millimeters. Now, with the help of a crochet hook, I'm going just to pull the yarn, because sometimes this is a little bit tight, and I'm going just to pull it, and then I'm going to put the loop inside the needle. And then I'm going to be using each space and pulling the yarn through that and inserting it into the stray needle. Okay, so we are working right now with the front part. And when you get to parts that is very difficult to put the stray needle into, just use a crochet hook. It's much easier that way. And we'll continue doing this until the other side of the shoulder. Well, I already finished putting all the stitches on in the needle, and now we are going to do like elastic band. I'm going to knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl, and so on until the other side of the shoulder. Okay, so in this case, just remember that the first one of each row, we are going to knit it, okay? Or purl, depending on what side we are on. But every single thing has to be knit. So knit, purl, knit, purl. Okay, so I think I have knit enough. So I'm going just to measure this, and I have 31 rows, which are 15 centimeters approximately. So I'm going to stop here because this will be easy enough just to fold it and look like a mock neck. Okay, so I'm going to start closing these 58 stitches, and we already know how to close a row. So I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so we are done closing this, and I'm just going to cut the yarn and to leave a little piece of yarn in there in case we need it. So now you see how nice it is. I can fold it, and now we are going to be working on the back, which is much easier because it's just a straight line. So remember, the back part has 39 points at this moment and is more dense. So definitely you do need help somehow. I always use crochet hooks. So that way you can start putting the loop into the needle and then just pulling again. Because if I try here, look, doesn't work. So I'm going just to be pulling it and putting that into the needle. Okay, so I have now my 39 stitches on the needle, and I'm going to start doing the elastic stitch, which is knit one, purl, knit, purl. And we are going to continue doing that for 31 rows until we get the same height than the front part, and then we will be done with the collar. Okay, so we are done with the back part. So I'm closing it and I'm going to pull a little bit of yarn just in case I need it to start sewing the back and the front, and it's going to look just perfect. And we are going to start joining these two sides. And a way that works for me is that with the tapestry needle, I'm going just to be taking the middle of the stitch, sorry, it has to be one by one here, and I go to the next row and then take the middle. You see, I put together side by side these two parts, and then take it like that and start sewing it, and it will look very even. Okay, so this way I start joining the two sides together, and it gets to be very easy to use in a reversible way. It looks very even and I love it. So I ask you to give it a try and you will see how nice it looks. Just a reminder, use every single space here at the base. When you are putting the stitches in the needle, just remember, use every space. That way you have enough room for the head. We are going to start with the sleeves, and the step number one is to put a marker at 29 centimeters or 11.5 inches from the shoulder. So just measure it and put the marker there. Put it in the front and the back. That way you can work easily. Step number two is that you are going to use the piece of yarn on one of the sides, and with the tapestry needle, start joining the back and front on the sides. And we are going just to join it, sew it basically, until we get to the marker. You can do this several ways. One is the way that I'm doing it right now, from the middle of the stitch, or just take side to side, which is faster, and then continue like that. Just remember, we are going to stop at the marker. And the step number three, we are going to take a crochet hook of 5.5 millimeters and start making a single crochet in each space for the first 5 spaces. So we are going to make 5 single crochets. So we chain 1, and now in the next space we are going to make single crochet. This is 1. Then we make 2, 3, 4, 5, and here in the sixth one I'm going to do 2 single crochets, 1 and 2 together, and I'm going to continue like that until I get to the top of the shoulder, So I'm going to have a marker here at the top of the shoulder. And from there, I'm going to count 33 single crochets. So now I have my 33 single crochet and I'm going to go down doing 5 single crochets in each space and then 2 single crochets in the number 6 and continue like that until I get to have 33 single crochets. Okay, I got to the marker and I can see that now I have 33 points and now I'm going to start row number 2. So I chain 1 and turn the work and then I'm going to do a single crochet, not here, not in this first one, in the second one. That will be my first single crochet and I'll continue doing single crochets with no increases. So okay, now I got to the end of the row number 2, chain 1, turn the work, and again I'm not going to do the first single crochet in this first one but in the next one. And this will be my last row in crochet. I will continue doing single crochets until the end of this row. Okay, so I got to the end of this row and I have this loop. So I'm going to use my string needle and I'm going to start pulling in each space one loop and the yarn is going to be here in the needle. So I'm going to have my first row knitting this time. Okay, so here I have a total of 66 points, 33 and 33, and now we are going to start knitting. So again, it doesn't matter if you decide to purl or to knit, because remember this sweater is going to be reversible, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so I believe I have enough length. At this moment is 35.5 centimeters, which is 14 inches. So I'm going to continue closing this row. And with this, we finish the sleeve. Okay, I finished both the sleeves. And now my next step is just to uh, join together the sides, right? The sides of the sleeve. Remember, the cuffs are going to be in crochet. So here we are just going to be using a tapestry needle and we are going to be sewing it. Okay, so we are going to start finalizing the sleeves using a crochet hook, 4.5 millimeters or 5 millimeters, and then we are going just to do the cuffs. So I'm going to do 15 chains, and after I am done with the 15 chains, I'm going to be going down with 14 single crochets. Okay, so here we go and we are going to find the belly and we do a single crochet. So again, the belly in this row and then a single crochet and continue like that until you get to the base and you will have a total of 14 single crochets. So here I got to the base. So I have this is the line that I have and I'm going just to do a slip stitch here at the base. So I will be attaching this row. And now I'm going to skip 1 or 2 spaces and then do a slip stitch. And then I'm going to turn the work and I will start going upwards. But I'm going just to be doing a single crochet using the outside loop. So a single crochet in each space. For the sleeve to look kind of puffy, just remember to skip 1 or 2 spaces at the base. And as you are working, try on the sleeve just to make sure that you are not going to make extra rows. Okay, so I think I have enough rows. So this is my last single crochet. And I'm going to join it to the other side. And this is the very last point. And I'm going to do slip stitch. And I will put both sides parallel and I'm going to start passing through one loop on one side and one loop in the other side, and then I do a slip stitch. Let me repeat it. I take one loop, another, and slip stitch. Again, one loop, and the other side another loop and slip stitch. And I will continue doing that until I get to the base. Okay, so I am done, and my last thing will be just to do a single knot. Then I pull the yarn, and you see how nice we are having this. I'll pull the yarn, cut it, and then I'll be hiding this piece of yarn with a tapestry needle. And our last step is to be doing the waistband the same way that we did the sleeve cuff. So we are going to be doing 15 chains and then 14 single crochets. The only difference is at the base, we are not going to be skipping one or two spaces. We will try to make a row in each space. Um, but it depends how you want the waistband. If you want it tight, so skip one or 2 points. So here we are at the end of the waistband, and it's very nice. And we are going to be closing it exactly the same way that we did with the cuffs. So we take the very last point, we do a slip stitch, and we go downwards, just doing slip stitches. So with this, we are at the end of this tutorial. I hope you learn how to do this beautiful sweater. And please remember to subscribe, to give me a like, and remember that I have many more projects to share with you. So I hope to see you next time in my channel, Ana Lana. Thank you.